As time progresses, the EV market is slowly becoming more and more saturated, and people are moving away from EVs. Only a few years ago, we thought that these EVs were the future, but from today's perspective, things are looking a bit different.
Why is Ford pissed off, and are the dealers not giving any value for Ford? Ford has failed to see that having a great product alone is no longer sufficient in the EV industry. Being competitive in price is now crucial. The design by Ford to gradually stop selling EVs is astounding. The announcement aligns with Ford's own progressive retreat from its previous promises about electrification. Over the past year, Ford has seen a slowdown in the EV rise. What is happening with Ford regarding EVs? Well, let's check it out. In the USA, about half of all Ford dealers have made a decision to stop carrying electric cars by 2024. Additionally, those dealers will not be responsible for any future Blue Oval mandated EV equipment or training costs. Nearly 90% of the nation's population, according to the company, will still reside 20 miles or less from a Ford EV dealer. Regarding how many of its dealers will sell EV vehicles beginning in 2024, Ford and its dealerships have been quite erratic. Despite the requirement that dealers provide at least $500,000, all for equipment and training, and around 65% of dealers, or 1,920, had signed up at the end of 2022. Approximately 1,550 dealers are still registered for the Model E program. It has been confirmed that represents around 50% of all Ford dealers nationwide. Ford will now recognize anybody who chooses not to enroll or withdraws from the program as Model E certified. This implies that they won't have the same tools or expertise on hand to handle the maintenance requirements of EVs. Ford, for its part, doesn't appear overly alarmed by the circumstances. A report by Ford says its EV division reported a $1.3 billion loss, all of which are in earnings before interest and taxes, hereby increasing the company's 9-month EBIT deficit to $3.1 billion. For the Ford Model E unit, the firm had projected a pre-tax loss of $4.5 billion for the entire year. The carmaker said that pricing and profitability were sharply compressed in its EV vehicle sector. Dealers have decided to boycott Ford, and this has affected Ford's reputation in the market. The company is trying its best to grapple with the issue, but it seems like it's likely slowly snowballing into a major controversy. What does Ford have to say about the backlash they have been facing over the past few days? We think our dealers know their market, and best EV adoption rates vary across the country. Ford spokesperson Marty Gunsberg told the Detroit Free Press. Enrollments for 2024 are slightly over 50% of the network, placing 86% of the population within 20 miles of a Ford dealership that can sell and service a Ford EV, according to assessments that Ford dealers have completed of their local markets. Ford has also recently trimmed back on its EV plans, which include lowering expenditures, reversing its 2024 EV production targets, and closing a battery factory that is now under construction. It will be interesting to watch which dealers succeed and which ones fail over the course of the following 12 months. Now that all parties have committed, the rest of us can see how it all works out. On January 1st, 2024, new regulations from the Treasury Department tightened the guidelines for battery materials and components. Because of this, the number of EVs that are currently qualified for federal incentives will no longer be after the ball drops in Times Square a few days from now at midnight. EV incentives will be removed for Ford models. Recently, the Treasury has proposed stringent restrictions rejecting any EVs with specific foreign battery content, including low-value components. This practically means that starting on January 1st, the majority of EVs will not be qualified. According to Ford, the $3,750 tax credit will no longer be available for the E-Transit as of January 2021. Additionally, the $3,500 credit currently offered to the Lincoln Aviator Grand Touring, plug-in hybrid, and Mustang Mach-E will be eliminated. Research from the Associated Press, NORC, Center for Public Affairs Research, and the Energy Policy Institute at the University of Chicago, 47% of American adults believe that they are unlikely to purchase an EV as their next vehicle. What Ford and other traditional automakers will lose annually per vehicle as EV sales increase is an open topic. The headline is supported by a straightforward math. About 12,000 electric vehicles were sold by Ford during the first quarter of this year. Ford's Model E electric vehicle division suffered a $700 million loss. In order to facilitate the rapid expansion of EV production, Ford has invested billions of dollars in plants and technologies. Ford's increased capacity cannot keep up with Mustang's Mach-E's quick sales, which make it the third best-selling EV in America behind two Tesla models. Ford estimates that it can sell 150,000 of its flagship F-150 Lightning EVs per year. As the demand for the electric vehicle declines, Ford is reducing the number of its electric F-150 Lightning trucks produced. The carmaker stated that, however, less than initially projected, it still plans to boost its EV sales in 2024. What is the sudden decision to reduce the manufacturing of F-150 trucks? As the market for EVs declines, Ford Motor is reducing the amount of electric F-150 trucks produced. Beginning in April, Ford's Rogue Electric Vehicle Center will operate with a single shift, affecting around 1,400 employees. In order to fulfill demand, the Big Three manufacturer also mentioned that it would increase production of its Ranger pickup and Bronco SUV to support a third crew at its Michigan assembly plant. The company would add 700 workers from its Rogue complex and 900 new personnel. In a release, Ford President and CEO Jim Farley stated, "We are utilizing our manufacturing flexibility to offer customers choices while balancing our growth and profitability." Ford's F1 Lightning sales have increased by 55% over the previous year, placing the companies among the top-selling EV companies in the US. The business did note, though, that future EV sales growth could not be as strong as first anticipated. The announcement further harms the prospects for EVs in light of the declining demand. Even while suppliers and automakers are placing large bets on the demand for EVs in the future, the current global recession is bringing pain to the EV sector, since actual EV demand has not kept up with investment in capacity and technology development. Pressure to reduce costs has increased on corporations. Why is there very less demands for EVs now? The headlines surrounding EVs recently have been harsh. Sales are declining, the momentum is ebbing, customers are growing less fond of technology. However, experts believe that 2024 might be the year that gas-powered automobiles and trucks are finally phased out. Sales of battery-powered cars have undoubtedly increased as a result of Tesla and its competitors' price reductions. According to Cox Automotive, dealers raised their EV discounts in November, resulting in an 8.9% decrease in the average transaction price. Less than 2% of ATP was allocated to EV incentives 1 year prior. American consumers may have persuaded to give up their V6 and V8 engines permanently by new vehicles like the Kia EV9, Cherry Blazer EV, and Volvo X30. Furthermore, the adoption of the North American Charging Standard port by almost all automakers is expected to enhance the charging experience and reduce range anxiety related to range. Tesla invented this standard. In contrast to other forecasters, Ed Kim, president and principal analyst at Auto Pacific, projects that EV sales in the US would reach 1.5 million vehicles in 2024 and 2 million by 2025. The amount of frantic activity we saw previously is not present now. Demand has somewhat tapered off, and the market has partially corrected, Kim told ABC News. Adoption is still increasing, but it is somewhat slowed down. For EVs, this is hardly a disaster. Don't panic just yet. It seems many automakers overestimated demand for expensive EVs. However, that does not, at least not yet, suggest that demand for EVs will fail. It looks as though EVs have a far brighter future than they first seem to have. Do you think Ford will come back much stronger in the EV market in a couple of years? Do share your thoughts on this in the comment section below. For more interesting stories and updates, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon for notifications. Goodbye.